make him an offer he can't refuse.
But I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
You think you can take me? You need a fucking army you're gonna take me?
You shit-kicking, stinky horse-smelling motherfucker, you!
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Say hello to my little friend!
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eternal Midnight. I am Santino, and I'm here with Chad. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up tonight, man?
Nothing much. But you know what, Chad? I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. Welcome back to Christmas and Crime, and today we're doing the ugly side. So we covered claws, and now we're doing the ugly side of crime, which is The Departed and The Irishmen. So we're kicking off. Two amazing Martin Scorsese films, and we're kicking off with The Departed, early 2006 film. What do you think of The Departed, Chad?
So, I hate to admit it, I did not get a chance to rewatch Departed for this. So you're gonna have to kind of throw me a few reminders. Sorry, everyone, busy with. I basically had time to rewatch one of the two movies we're doing, and I decided to go with the longer one. But no, just so from what I remember of watching this, I really enjoyed it for what it was. Like, crime movies are definitely more your thing. I don't have an issue with them. They're just not usually like the first ones I jump to. Like when we did The Godfather, that I'm not gonna lie, that was the first time I'd watched those in years. Stuff like Casino, Goodfellas, I don't watch them that often. They're more movies I have more respect for, as opposed to watch them very often, especially when it's like horror movies and stuff like that is definitely always more of my like go-to. But when it comes to The Departed, it's an incredible film, and it's like I almost feel like it's underrated. Like, I genuinely feel like it barely gets talked about, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, it's buried a lot because, again, Martin Scorsese is like a freaking crime legend. So he made Goodfellas, Casino, Raging Bull. So it's really kind of buried. But The Departed.
So, where would you put something like The Departed versus, say, what we did or what we talked about earlier this year, Layer Cake and oh my gosh, Snatch?
Wow, including those, I'd say Departed is like,
Would you say it's better than those two on par?
Oh, yeah, I'd say it's better than Layer Cake and Snatch because I love Layer Cake to death, but like and I'm biased to that because I love British crime and I love that because British crime is so different from American crime. But Departed is definitely more well made. Jack Nicholson is intimidating as fuck in this movie. Mm-hmm. He is so scary.
He was a great crime boss.
Yeah, like when Leo broke his hand, he's like, "I'm gonna have my associate search you," and opened his cast and broke his arm again just to really make sure that there was no fucking bug. That was awesome. That was awesome. And it's really a cat and mouse game because you have Matt Damon who was playing the bad guy, the bad cop, the corrupt cop, and Leonardo DiCaprio was playing the good cop, the guy who's in, and both are in love with Vera Farmiga, who's actually really hot in this movie.
I honestly, I've always had a thing. I've always thought Vera Farmiga was good looking, like always, no matter what she's in.
Usually, I think I found Vera Farmiga like a mom type because she was in The Conjuring and she's like a mom there. So like, I never found her like interesting. Thaisa Farmiga, the sister, is really hot though. I really like.
Oh, easily. If you want to hear more about that, go back and listen to our old episode of The Nun, Conjuring Month.
Yeah, so going back to it, I mean, there's a lot of tension scenes. Like, there are moments where like you think Leonardo DiCaprio is gonna get unveiled as as the mole, and like there's there's a feeling that Jack Nicholson's like, we have a cop in my crew, and like he's telling Leonardo DiCaprio who is the one like I got a rat this gnawing, or like, oh shit, like, oh my god, he's fucking onto him, like, and that's awesome because Scorsese is great at creating tension for characters, which I love. I personally love doing that. I love seeing that. And I mean, like, what about you, Chad? Did you like Leo's performance in this movie, or like what?
Leonardo DiCaprio never lets me down. I can't name a single role he's done that I thought was like bad. And I mean, this is going back. Like, I guarantee you probably didn't even know this. I've actually like seen his like earliest role, and even then I thought it was fun when he was in Critters 3.
He was in Critters 3?
He was in Critters 3.
Damn.
That's like the selling point of the movie. We have Leonardo DiCaprio. But
his earliest role was like What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
I think that came like right after it, to the best of my memory. I'd have to bring up his filmography to double check, but I'm like 90% sure that Critters 3 was his first one.
I also really like in this movie?
Yep, Critters 3 was first, and Eating Gilbert Grape was 2 years later.
All right, that's awesome. I'm happy that was able to be clarified. Also I really like in this movie, underrated, Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg's always awesome. He always like seems like he just like has a stick up his ass and he's pissed off, but that's what makes him just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's awesome in this. Like he's arguing with Leonardo DiCaprio, and then like I love that fight in the car with Martin Sheen and Mark Wahlberg, and it's like Leo's like, do you want him to chop me up and feed to the fucking poor? Is that what you want? And then Mark Wahlberg's like, hey, that might stick. And they're like, oh shit. Like, dude, you're pretty fucking morbid, but like, I did not expect that. The first time I watched the movie, I did not expect that end scene where Mark Wahlberg.
Which one?
The end scene where Matt Damon walks in his apartment and Mark Wahlberg's there.
Well, I mean, but were you expecting what happened to Leo?
No, I didn't expect what happened.
That's why I was like, which ending are you talking about?
No. I mean, like, yeah, I did not expect what happened.
Because it was like both of them were completely shocking. It was like, that was one where I was like, how exactly is this going to end? And then Leo gets the bullet and gets killed. And I'm like, shit, Damon got away with it. And then he walks into his apartment and Wahlberg's just standing there and he's just like frozen. He's just like, shit, what do I do? He like makes the slightest move and bang, that's the end of him.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, like, again, it's really a game of cat and mouse where both the cat and the mouse get killed.
Mm-hmm. It's just another example of like pure genius from Scorsese.
Oh yeah, like he creates the perfect tension, and like I love that, honestly, that scene where Vera Farmiga like gets like the tape and listens to it, like, oh my gosh, my husband's a fucking murderer, and it made me wonder, like, oh my, like, is Matt Damon gonna kill Vera Farmiga? Is that gonna happen?
Well, it's funny also because another one of my favorite scenes is when Damon erases Leo's records of being a cop. It's like, dude, he's screwed now. No matter what, there's no evidence he's not a criminal anymore.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, Wahlberg still knew that he was a cop.
Well, yeah, but there was no proof anymore.
Oh yeah.
Like the in the books, because remember, didn't they destroy his like all of his records at the beginning to set him up as someone new, and they buried his actual records in the computer system? Yeah, and that's what Damon erased. So it's like, he's screwed. He's got almost no one who knows who he actually is anymore.
Yeah, and even like Martin Sheen's death was really like shocking to me. Because like I kind of knew like they were coming, because like, oh shit, man, he's fucked. And then like him falling off from the building and landing in Leo's arm, like legs, like, oh fuck me.
Mm-hmm.
And that one guy who got shot and who knew that Leo was the mole. It's like I made a mistake. I sent you the wrong address, and you ended up in the right one. I'm like, oh my god, he's fucked. And he dies. It's like, oh wow, okay, he's safe. It's really like it's always this tension moments that I'm not expecting, and like it reminds me of Layer Cake in the sense like it's all these problems for the main character, and just when you think he's about to get away from it, he gets shot.
Mm-hmm. It's like just as it was like, oh, he's gonna make it. It's over. Boom. It's like, okay, never mind. I forgot that I'm watching a Scorsese film. Nobody's really safe.
Oh,
That's another thing I got to give major props to Scorsese though. In all of his films, basically, if you think someone's safe, they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
We're safe.
Scorsese always does such an excellent job with that, I think.
Yeah, it reminded me of like Joe Pesci and Goodfellas because like Joe Pesci like, oh my God, Tommy's being made. He's gonna be untouchable. He's gonna get away with like the murder, and you go into the house and like, oh no, boom, and then he's dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one that like I'm going to get around to rewatching it to give myself a major refresher. Like I said, I remember the bulk of it, and it's just it's really just for a crime film. I know this is good. It's like it really truly is.
I even like Jack Nicholson's line like, how's your brother? It's like he's on his way out. Like you all are. Act accordingly. I was like, dude. Dude, and even what he says to like the young man was like, nothing is given, you have to take it. Just shows the mindset of who this guy is, and that if I had to like pick a favorite scene, it is that scene with Leo and Jack Nicholson in the bar, and he's like what do you want, money? And it's like, I haven't needed money since I took little Johnny's charity money in the 3rd grade. To tell you the truth, I haven't needed pussy either, but I like it. Shit, dude. Like I don't want to be in a room. Like, those guys that you want to be in a room with because they're just gonna fucking kill you. Yeah, this is one of those guys. Like I don't want to even be close in the same vicinity as him. I really, really don't.
Exactly. I agree. Yeah, it's this movie is just another prime example of Scorsese knowing exactly how to like get dialogue and get it down like perfectly.
Yeah, the dialogue here is like on another level. It's top notch.
And it's cool because it's like this is based on it's based on something that was actually it was based on a Chinese movie, I believe.
Oh, really?
Called Internal Affairs, to the best of my memory. Yeah. And it's like it almost feels like, this is like this is almost like an American remake done right, because it's like sometimes we get remakes to foreign films and it's just like why the hell did you even bother? You butchered it, you ruined it. That you should have just like released the original. And this is a prime example of no. Scorsese was the right one to hand this job to.
Yeah, he was damn good in this movie. And if I had to have a negative, Alec Baldwin really didn't do much. I mean, like he was in it, like he was just like the cop on the other end. Like I didn't feel like you needed him, but I'm glad that he was in it because I do kind of enjoy movies with Alec Baldwin in it, even though he doesn't really do much in like most of them.
Except Die.
Die? Is that a movie? Or like does he like actually die?
No, you said he doesn't do much. I said except Die.
Oh, yeah, fair. So I mean, like going into it, I mean, do you think this is the best Scorsese movie, Chad, or not? Or like, is it like, so
No.
You still think Casino is the best? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's always a toss-up between Casino and Goodfellas, but there's just because both of them are such damn good stories, but it's like I think it's just I enjoy the bright lights and the flashy glitz of
Las Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, so it's like that's what always helps Casino be like my favorite, but it's like trying to pick a favorite Scorsese movie is so difficult though, because every single one of them has so many pros and very few cons. so many memorable things about them. Such almost always well written, almost always extremely well written. They're always filmed spectacularly. I mean, Scorsese to me is it's like I know I forget it was Scorsese who was the one who insulted the MCU a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I remember all these like, and pardon me if I'm about to start a war, but I remember like all these fanboys getting pissed off, like, what the hell does he know? And it's like, I'm sorry, Scorsese knows a lot. You can disagree with him, but it's like, you can disagree with his opinion, but it's like you have no right to like call him a hack just because he says he's not a fan of like stuff like Civil War or Ant-Man.
Yeah, like when
Like, get over it. I've seen plenty of like horror films and that are like brilliant, and I've seen people just be like the whole genre is garbage, and it's like, well, maybe if you got to know it a little better, you'd see some of the hidden gems. Like Friday the Third. Like, I'm not saying Friday the 13th Part 7 is one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
But I mean, you found a character in that movie that you never would have found had we not done it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's like you found an arc with Tina and a story that you were like, damn, this is really good. So it's like all the people saying stuff like, oh, Scorsese doesn't know what he's talking about because we prefer to watch the MCU. We don't watch his stuff, even though we know his name. It's like, no, the man is a legend. He knows what he's doing, and he spews quality.
It's like, it's more of like, I'll put it this. It's funny because like last year when all that shit was going down, like it started with Jennifer Aniston, I think, calling out the MCU in saying that they're really not movies. Like, I missed the movies of like Meg Ryan and then like and all that. And I was like, I actually started Facebook posts and like, well, what the fuck do you know? No, all you have is like your shitty Friends TV show, and that's really it. And then
Jeez.
yeah, people really got shocked. But then when Scorsese and Coppola said like, oh, Marvel movies are disgusting, I was like, well, I can't take that away from them because they make fucking great films, and that's their opinion, and they have the right to that opinion because they know way more than Jennifer Aniston does. So like, yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Well, to me, it's an opinion from an educated individual within Hollywood, and it's like, just because you disagree doesn't make them wrong. Films like this, Casino, Goodfellas, is what Scorsese comes from, where he's like, I am concerned with dialogue, whereas he watches maybe an MCU movie and he's like, these jokes are really lame and everything's just painted over with all this CGI. So it's like, it's almost like it's a generational thing, definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But at the same time, it's like what he does is still a craft that not everyone can do. And it's like Scorsese's gonna be one of those people, like when he passes one day, it's like we will have lost a legend, a true legendary filmmaker.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like for me, like it's the same thing with like, I'm gonna throw it back to that off-air conversation we had last night about the LTR and Harry Potter like conversation. Like I'm a Harry Potter fan, like by nature, for sure I am. But I can confidently say that Lord of the Rings, both movies and books, are way more well written than Harry Potter is. Like from an objective standpoint, I can really say that. Same with the MCU and Martin Scorsese. I'm a diehard MCU fan, but I can objectively say that from a filmmaking standpoint, Martin Scorsese has made way better movies than.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they are far, far better films. It just comes down to your taste, but it's like that. I'm like I've said, I'm not as into crime films as you are, but it's like I know a good movie when I see it. And and Scorsese makes good movies, even if they're not stuff I like rewatch 2 or 3 times a year, like other films I own that I watch multiple times a year. They're the types of movies that I watch once every 2 or 3 years, but they stick with me. And yeah, and it's just I'm watching quality as opposed to like just
Quantity.
the run-of-the-mill Hollywood stuff that's painted in CGI, even though when we get to the next movie, Scorsese did use that
Yeah.
for the de-aging.
Yeah, so well, nice transition there. I mean, like going into the next movie, The Irishman, which is awesome because we have the three crime legend actors in one
Legends.
movie: De Niro, Pesci, and Pacino. So Pacino from The Godfather, Pesci from Goodfellas and Casino, and De Niro from those same films. So, what are your thoughts on The Irishman, Chad?
It's very long. No, so I remember when this was like announced, like it was going to be Netflix, but it was going to be like in select theaters.
Yeah.
I went down last year to visit a buddy of mine, and there was a theater by his house that was playing it, and we actually got to go see it in the
Oh, that's
theater.
awesome.
And it's like
Awesome.
it felt so cool being able to see De Niro, Pacino, and Pesci on screen together on the big screen. It was almost like, I know it's not the same, but it was almost like, okay, I'm making up for not having to have gotten to see like Casino and Goodfellas in theaters or something.
Awesome.
Even though while it's a good movie,
You have problems with it. I know.
I wouldn't even go as far to say I have problems with it. It's just it's pure quality. It's just it is so long. And it's like I hate to sound like my ADD is taking over when I say that, because it's like I was just what movie was I just watching before we got on?
Return of the King.
Thank you. And that's even longer, but it's like
4 hours.
yeah, the extended cut. But it's like, and I don't mean to sound like I have problems with a long movie, but it's like this one is just it's very, very long, and it's while it is quality, it's one of those things I haven't watched it since theaters, but it has like stuck with me the entire thing. Every performance stuck out to me so much that I like still remember it. Like even without having seen it, like I said, since theaters, I can still remember the fear Pacino portrayed when they went to the house at the end and he knew it was a trap, and De Niro killed him.
That was heartbreaking to watch.
It was, because it was like Jimmy Hoffa was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, he
was the last person he expected basically betrayed him.
Yeah, because that was his best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, come on, let's go. And like, dead. Also, side note, I really like the inclusion of Tommy from Snatch in this movie. He plays Pearl, the little guy. I was like, nice. I like seeing him in roles like that.
Mm-hmm. And it was, even though his role was pretty small, Ray Romano as Bill Buffalino. I mean, the major things I know Ray Romano from is Everybody Loves Raymond, and it was cool seeing him like do a dramatic role like he did. As it was small, but I thought he did a good job, and it was cool because it's like, okay, this guy's got more range than just being a comedic doofus.
Or even like Harvey Keitel as Angelo Bruno. I was like, wow. I was watching this. I was like, he's still alive? I thought he died, dude. Harvey
Keitel is like always awesome. Always, though.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and his role is small, but I like. It's still pretty intimidating. Like he says, like, what else did he say? Now's not the time to not say. It's like, oh shit, like this guy, like he's intimidating. But the stand up for me, honestly.
I know exactly who you're gonna say.
Joe Pesci.
Yep.
Because he was so good. This is such a different role for him.
And that was what was weird, because it's like we're so used to the swearing, violent Pesci, and it's like getting something completely like chilled and relaxed. It was like, look, the man. I mean, didn't he basically come out of like retirement just to do this?
Yeah,
role?
and it was awesome, dude. Like wow. I mean, dude, Joe Pesci, that fucking great actor, dude. Like he's, I don't know, it's like every week he's in one of our movies. He's in one of our movies.
Whether it's Christmas or Crime.
He's in
No,
one.
he was great. I mean, honestly, everybody was great in this movie. This was another one where it was just like all around applause to everybody for doing a damn good job.
You know, Joe Pesci deserved like the supporting actor nomination for this. He was, like,
I'd say the only thing I had a issue with,
yeah,
it had to be, I think, the way some of the movements of the characters were when they were trying to make, like when De Niro was like beating the shit out of that shop owner.
yeah.
It was like he was supposed to be a young man, but it was like his movements were like that's not how a young man moves. He had the like the build and the walk of an older man, which is what he is. But it was like, I don't want to say it took me out, but it's like watching it, I'm like, I'm obviously not watching the same De Niro from Casino or Goodfellas.
Yeah.
It was still great. These are still great performances and a great story, but it's almost like, I get why he did it. You know, Scorsese wanted to get, you know, the old boys back together, but it's almost like
De Niro's almost way too old for this.
Yeah, and it's almost like, I almost wish, as weird as it's going to sound, I almost wish that the three main boys had been supporting roles, and maybe we'd gotten some younger new blood that Scorsese was looking forward to working with or something, almost like he did in The Departed.
Yeah.
With Damon and Wahlberg and Leonardo DiCaprio. It was like it was like passing the torch on to the next generation of, you know, young men that he'd almost like he'd had back in the 90s.
Ironically though, Damon was never cast after The Departed. It was always Leo. So I guess I guess like Scorsese. Again, I don't know how the man's mind works. I'm not a fucking telepath, but from the way I look at it, I guess he looked at it in the sense like, okay, these two are new blood, and let's see who works better, who acts better, and objectively, I mean, like as much as I love Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio was the superior actor, and which is why like after that he did a lot of like movies with Leo.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense, like fucking Wolf of Wall Street. Like, we should have done that also. Wolf of Wall Street.
Here's my review of Wolf of Wall Street: hilarious and amazing.
I'm surprised Leo did not get the Oscar for that movie.
Such bullshit that he didn't. Such bullshit that he didn't.
So like, yeah, going back to The Irishman, I mean, like, I think my favorite scene in the entire movie is when essentially Martin Scorsese makes De Niro kill. I mean, essentially when Martin, that scene where in the breakfast, you know, where Joe Pesci's like, we're taking a ride up to Port Clinton today. It's like, what's in Port Clinton? You know, plane. It's like, why? Like, because you're gonna, like, he doesn't actually say it, but like, you know, you're gonna go to Jimmy's and you're gonna, you know, take care of business. And you know, I didn't want to put you into this, but the only way that you could prove your loyalty was out of respect to me. I was like, oh shit, dude. Shit, he's gonna fucking kill him.
And you might find this interesting. Like you obviously know, you know, like I'm in the States, you're in the Philippines.
Yeah.
I'm not that far from where Hoffa disappeared.
No way.
Yeah, I literally live in the same county. He disappeared, or he was in, the restaurant was in Bloomfield Township.
Right.
That's like the same county I live in. It's a different side of the county, but I'm literally, it's within half an hour of where I live. Isn't that crazy?
In all honesty, like,
even though I just announced to the whole world, if anyone hates me and wants to find me now, they know where I live.
Honestly, like I was very impressed with like how they portrayed Hoffa's disappearance because I knew Hoffa disappeared. I just didn't know how he disappeared. Like, but in all honesty, like it was probably a mob hit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I mean, somebody knew whether that person is alive or dead, but it's like that was something like, obviously that was made up for the movie, exactly what happened, because
Yeah, but you don't know exactly what the hell happened.
exactly. So it's like I genuinely thought I thought it was a good interpretation of what could have possibly happened to him. Like I said, there's people out there who know, but
I'm sure
it's past the point. Nobody's ever going to admit to it, and like his remains are never going to be found.
Yeah, probably burned somewhere because like that's why his remains were never found, because they burned his body.
Or it was thrown into one of the Great, or was thrown into the Great Lake.
Shoot.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell. I mean, like I said, nobody will ever know, but it's like it could have just been thrown within the Great Lake. I don't remember exactly which one it is, to be totally honest. Even though I live here, I don't remember all the Great Lakes. Lake Michigan, Huron, Erie, Superior, and I don't remember the fifth one. But no, I thought it was a good idea that they came up with for it, because it's like, if you're wanting to tell this story, you can't just be like, oh, they never knew what happened, so we'll just not show anything. They obviously had to go fictional and make something up for it.
I even like how Pesci like alludes to the fact that the mob killed Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Pesci says, like, if we can wreck a president, we can wreck a president of the union. It was like, did he just allude to killing John Kennedy? Holy shit, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, almost like every line out of Pesci's mouth in this movie was awesome.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. It's awesome. And I love seeing him in this role. Like if he retires again after this, then I'm so glad that this was his last role to do, because it's awesome.
It's so sad watching actors or actresses go out on bad films. Carrie Fisher. But so it's like, it's good watching like a legend like Pesci go out.
Yeah, the fucking
because I think he's done. I think this was his favor to Scorsese, and he's finished now.
Yeah, I'm like, you can tell like this is a favor, because man, you can tell like, okay.
He showed his age.
Yeah, he was old, dude. Like, oh man, this guy's way old. Like, he's not the Goodfellas Pesci, or even Home Alone Pesci. Like, this guy's like, oh man, you're really old, and it sucks to see you so old like this. But you're still awesome, and I love that for you.
Yeah, I mean, he's 77, so it's like he's up there.
Yeah.
Wow. Pacino's 80 though. Pacino's older than Pesci.
He was 80, but then like he's still like spry, He's still
maybe Pesci just physically took care of himself better over the years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just guessing. I'm not sure. I don't know these men in real life, but it's like you said, it's like a shock. It's like, wow, Pacino's that old.
Yeah, dude.
He seemed like he had far more energy in him than Pesci and even De Niro did.
Yeah, dude. Like, he was still active. Like, he was still doing like really huge like stuff in this movie. I love that. So yeah, I mean, like, going back at it, Irishman's a very good movie, and I'm glad that all these actors had their time to shine. And if this turns out to be like Pesci's last role in cinema, I'm glad he went out with a bang, dude.
Definitely.
So, I mean, like, that's it for this week's Christmas and Crime. I mean, we covered a lot. And
yeah, it's almost hard to cover some of these films where where there's just like so much positivity about them, because it's almost like then we're just saying, I love this scene, I love that scene, and it's like it's almost like just go watch the movie instead, because we're not going to be able to do it justice.
Take it from us. It's a damn good movie. I mean, like, is it Martin Scorsese's best? Nah, I still think Goodfellas is his best. I still think Casino is more entertaining. Departed is more, like, tension building. But Irishman's still pretty damn good.
And it came out of nowhere too. That was the cool part. It was just like, oh shit, we got a Martin Scorsese film coming out, and it was like, I just remember watching it and walking out of the theater. I'm like, another score from this guy, another score.
He's really, really good. He's always been good. So
It's just, I'm sure there's the story behind it. I'm sure there's people who know it. It's just shocked me. I'm like, why? Maybe it's because of the length, but it's like, why did Irishman go straight to Netflix?
Yeah, I don't understand.
And have a limited release. It's just, I thought it was just
odd,
but
it should have been like a fucking theatrical release, honestly.
It's almost like he was like predicting what was going to happen this year.
Okay, so that's it, and thank you for listening to Christmas and Crime. And this week we covered a lot, and next week we're gonna be in the final weeks of Christmas and Crime. So we'll be covering Into the Spider-Verse, a very damn good Spider-Man superhero Christmas movie. Another great crime movie by Pacino. I think you know what I'm talking about. There's only one other great crime movie from Pacino, and that is Scarface, and I can't wait to cover that. And finally, one last ode and swan song to this Christmas and Crime month, Casino, with Martin Scorsese, Joe Pesci, and Robert De Niro. And I know that's Chad's favorite, so I can't wait to talk about it.
Well, and don't forget the film that's a debate every single Christmas. Is it a Christmas movie or is it not?
Die Hard.
And I have a special episode I did with Ken and Matt from Film Feast dropping on Christmas Eve. I'm not going to say what it is, but tune in on Christmas Eve for a real treat.
All right. So this month's wrapping up soon. We have four more reviews coming out, and we hope that it's going to be an awesome Christmas and crime. So
Definitely.
I'm Santina signing off.
I'm Chad. Enjoy your night.